and thank you, Wendy, for facilitating this. So welcome, everybody, from wherever you're calling in or listening to the re-recording. Navigating the minefield, successful software estimation before requirements are complete. So as Wendy said, if you'd like to add anything to the chat as we go along, hopefully the audio is fine and you're able to see me as I progress through the slides. So we've got a little bit of an agenda here. Software project cost estimation, I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to talk about how to demystify project requirements, our software development requirements. So I'm not talking about procurement projects. I'm talking about doing estimations on software development projects. So we're going to talk about how we can demystify that and make that easier for yourself. Estimates before requirements. What do we do? And especially in the Agile world where now we've got a budget preset or a project scope that is very, very high level, and we usually don't know what those high level requirements, how big they actually are before we get into it. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I've got something that I'm going to use as an acronym, DYB and guesstimate, and then we'll have a little bit of time, hopefully, for Q&A at the end. So when we talk about project estimating, and I mentioned that software development, that's where we're actually going to either start out with a legacy system and enhance it, or we start out with absolutely nothing, or we're replacing a system. So the biggest challenges we've got in terms of project estimating, if we're estimating, we want to be able to estimate the scope and the quality. We want to be able to estimate the effort, and effort in software development is the primary cost driver. The amount of labor, the amount of effort that our human resources, our people are putting in is the largest component typically in terms of cost. So we can take a look at the scope and quality to get our effort based on a size, which we can then turn into a cost using a labor rate. And from the cost and the effort and the scope, we can turn that around into a schedule. So basically that's what I'm talking about when we're talking about project estimation. So what's an estimate? Well, I went back to the dictionary and looked at estimated or estimating to form an approximate judgment or opinion regarding the worth, amount, size, weight of calculate approximately. It's to make a best judgment, a best expert opinion based on data we have at hand and based on what's happened in the past. So what are our project goals for software development? Faster? Absolutely. Better? Definitely. Cheaper? That would be nice. And we want it delivered on time and on budget. So our challenge is, what do we do about on time and on budget? One of our biggest issues where we have over budget, where we exceed our budget, we exceed our schedule, are because we didn't have a good estimate in the first place. That's a problem. Our typical estimating challenges. Take a look at our inputs that go into our estimating. Our known information, our assumptions, our requirements, our scope. Is it complete? Is it accurate? Is it even relevant? When we take a look at estimating models, are the estimating models we're using applicable? Do we have available data? And when we look at our estimates, our cost, our effort, and our duration, are they consistent with what's happened in the past? Are they based on this idea that it's going to be the perfect project, that everything is going to go well? And we need to be able to very clearly articulate about what is in scope and what is out of scope, because that really changes our entire estimating process. What I see today more and more with software development is it's kind of like a dog chasing its tail. Now, this was essentially the crux of waterfall software development. We'd have poor requirements. Now, I'm not saying that they're poor when we go to develop them. I'm saying that they are ambiguous or inconsistent. They might be way too high level. They're a high level information, and they're the best we can do. But a lot of people are asked to estimate based on the basis of poor requirements, and you don't really even know that they're poor. They're incomplete, they're inconsistent, but we have to do an estimate anyway. So if you build your estimating process on a foundation of poor requirements, you're going to end up with a poor estimate. And then when you get into doing the project that was based on a poor estimate, your budget or your schedule is based on a poor estimate, what's the first thing that happens? Something changes. And so someone says, well, hey, Carol, can you add this report? And I go, well, no, that wasn't in the original. That's a change. And I go back to the requirements, and I can't tell if they were in the requirements. Now we've got really a dog chasing its tail. It's like this endless cycle. And what's that lead to? Absolutely cost and schedule overruns. So let's talk about software requirements. Those are the requirements that come out of a program level or a project level that are allocated to be developed into software. So we typically will have our hardware requirements, and then we've got our software requirements. And I'm not going to spend much time talking about the hardware requirements, which of course can add to my cost, and the integration of the software back onto that system, onto the hardware, are definitely costs we need to worry about. But I'm talking right now about software requirements, the software that we are going to work on in the software development project to become software. So there's really three distinct types of software requirements. We've got our functional requirements. That's what the software is going to have to do. We've got our non-functional requirements. That is, how good does the software have to be? How does it operate? And then we've got our technical build requirements. That's where we go and we say, okay, now how are we going to actually make this into a solution? So the first two, the functional requirements and my non-functional user requirements, really formulate my user requirements. My technical build requirements are the things that my Java, my .NET, my Oracle, what I'm going to do on the project. Those are really my developer construction requirements, and all of those together formulate my project requirements. So how do developers view requirements? Well, we're pretty good at that. We can keep things pretty well straight and combine them and mix them up and take our functional and our non-functional, our technical. And on Agile projects, we put those all into the product backlog, and they become, in some instantiations, user stories. We can work with our functional requirements, our non-functional and technical, because they're all part of the project requirements to deliver a piece of working high-quality software. So we look at this and we see it blended, and there's no problem at all. What does the customer view it as? Wow, they want to see what is the functionality, what is the non-functional, and the technical. Half the time that completely bowls them over. So they see sometimes.
Hi there, hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Malutis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also getting complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year. But if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.